Good people, I'm going to show you 17 ways to play the tune Jenny Lynn by Bill Monroe. So this is going to be practice variations. And the idea is I want you to have just the time of your life playing music on your own. And just because you've learned a tune and you think you got it, it's not time to move on to the next tune and consume it like fast food. I want to encourage you to go deeper. So with all that said, here we go. The first way that I'm going to suggest you play it or practice it is to simply alter between the tune and its scale. So you can play the tune. And then practice the scale. A major. You may want to use variations like rhythms, triplets, slur patterns. That was slur too, okay? And then go back to your tune. By the way, all the variations I'm going to do could be used on any tune. Number 2, loop on smaller and bigger pieces. So you could loop on one little piece from the tune, like the first bar. Until you're just a master of that. Then you could loop on the second bar. And then loop on the first 2 bars. Until you get this feeling of magical flow happen. Number 3, use the practice of chaining. So you can start at the beginning of the tune, play the first note, then the first 2 notes. Oh, I did the first 3 notes, and then the first 4 notes. Until you have the whole first quarter, say. That was actually the first half of the A part. In that way, you could move through a whole tune note by note. If you already know this tune, then you may want to do bigger chunks at first, like the first bar, then the first 2 bars, then the first 3 bars. And so on. And if you want to take it to the next level, you could, and let's say you know the tune well enough, you could do backwards chaining. That's when you start at the end of the tune. So if I play the last bar of the tune, and then do the last 2 bars of the tune, and so on and so forth. I love backwards chaining, so fun. Number 4, simply pluck the tune. This will give you a whole new perspective on the tune, plus it allows you to focus on the left hand. Number 5, tremolo. So tremolo is fast, light bow strokes, done mostly with the wrist. Play the tune with that. And you may want to start again with just a little piece. Oh, I love tremolo. It's so cool and so fun to do. Number 7, close your eyes while playing. You can only do this once you've learned the tune and you don't need to read tabs or sheet music. You'll find you might enjoy it in a deeper way. Plus, you need to really rely on the sound and the feel versus the visual of what it looks like. Work on consistent timing using a metronome at 90 beats per minute or whatever works. Instead of a metronome, you can use a play-along track or a drum machine, whatever works. Just stay with that at a comfortable speed. Number 8, work on speed training. So only do number 8 if you've accomplished number 7, which is a consistent tempo. And then you can slowly try to play it faster and use the metronome. So that was 90 beats per minute. Maybe that's your fastest tempo on Tuesday. On Wednesday, you tried at 95. And if you can do that comfortably, maybe the next day you do it at 100. And if you take really slow increments, you'll eventually be able to play it faster. Now, here is the Jedi Knight secret to playing fast, is to play it super slow with a metronome. So if you were to play this tune like with a consistent metronome beat, you're going to know it really well, and it's really going to help you to play it faster. Number 9, practice dynamics. So play the tune really softly with little bows. And then once you've done that, play it really loud with big bows. Another fun way to play with dynamics is to practice swells by going from soft to loud and back to soft. That's called crescendo and decrescendo. Music nerd speaking here. Number 10. Transpose the tune down a fifth from A major, which is the original key, to D major. So to do that, you'll just start it on G1 instead of D1. And instead of using an A drone to practice the tune, you would use a D drone. Number 11, transpose it down a whole step. So we're going to go from the key of A major to the key of G major. This is harder because you have to use a completely different fingering. Remember when we transposed it down to G1, which was D major, it was the same exact fingering, but now we're going to have to totally redo the fingering. So I'm not going to do a full lesson on that. I'm just going to give you a hint of how to start the tune, and then you get to have the fun activity of figuring out the rest. So if we want to transpose to G major, we're going to start with open D to D3 to A1. That's all I'm going to give you. Hope you can figure it out. Number 12, add and practice with droning double stops. So back in the key of A major, when you do the B part and you play those notes on the E string, drone the open A string. You could even drone, or you could also drone the open E while playing the open A. Experiment with what you like, but remember, or I should kind of point out that when you add a lot of these droning double stops, the melody becomes buried a little bit and a little bit muddier. So just be mindful of that when you start to add double stops. Number 13, alternate between fiddling a phrase from the tune and singing it. Do, 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 do. This will expand your musical mind, will help you to play in tune, and it will help you to learn tunes more quickly. Number 14, strum the chords on your fiddle and sing the melody. So for this tune, you can actually play one chord, the A chord, A major chord, for the entire thing and sing the melody. Do 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 do. I've done a bunch of lessons on singing and playing, and the big takeaway is that you separate your actions. So you would really practice singing the melody independently of practicing the chords. And just in case you haven't studied or figured out chords on the fiddle, I have a bunch of lessons on that too, but here's a quick lesson on how to strum that A chord. You just put your first finger on G1 and D1 and play all 4 strings. Basically, you've turned your fiddle into a mandolin. And just start with downstrokes to make it really simple. Do, do, do. And maybe just the first few notes of the tune, sing. Just always try to do a piece that you can actually do. Do, 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 do. And then go a little further. Does that make sense? Cool. Number 15, add the slur to separate to bowing when you have groups of 4 notes. So when you have parts of the tune like this, so you have 8 eighth notes there. Just try slur 2, separate 2, slur 2, separate 2, slur 2, separate 2. And then to help you get that, go back to practice variation number 2, looping. And then maybe you could do the practice variation of speed control on that part too. And I just want you to see that you could practice and mix these things and play the same tune for hours. Okay, but let's move on. Number 16, you could practice note reading with this tune. So if you're trying to learn how to read sheet music on this, you can use this tune or any tune you happen to be learning to practice it. And I have a whole course on this, as some of you may know, but the gist of it, or one of the core principles I'm going to tell you right now, which is to learn the tune first in whatever way you can without sheet music, tabs, or maybe just learning it from a recording by ear, and then play one little part of it, and then look at the sheet music for that little part, and then do them at the same time. So I would play the first quarter, then I would look at the sheet music for the first quarter, and then maybe listen to the beginning of the tune, just training my brain to understand what's happening with each thing I'm seeing written down. And then you just try to play only that little bit while playing and reading. Just imagine I'm looking at sheet music, and then start over. Just look away from the sheet music and just play it. Maybe even close your eyes. Then continue these 3 steps, and eventually your brain will naturally learn how to read sheet music. It's an amazing thing. We just are natural readers. Finally, we get to number 17. Play this tune in a minor mode. So for you purists out there, this is going to piss you off. I'm sorry. That's not my intention. I just want to give you a cool idea to totally reinvent this tune, totally have a great time with playing. That's all I want you to do. And I want you to have a great experience while playing. And so that's why I'm giving you this idea. So we're gonna basically do this tune in the A Aeolian mode. Here's the A Aeolian scale. So it's open A, 1, low 2, 3, open E, low 1, low 2, 3. Haven't done a lesson on that yet, but I want to. Okay, I have a lot of other scale lessons, but there's always more, right? Okay, so now listen to how cool this tune sounds. It almost sounds like a klezmer tune or some kind of modal Appalachian tune like Jerusalem Ridge or something. Listen. B part.
Excellent.
Whew. Well, thanks for hanging with me for the length of this video and all 17 practice variations. What I hope you get out of this is I want you to learn to practice creatively. This will make the time you spend will be a lot more productively spent, but you'll also just have a better time. That's ultimately what I want you to do when you're practicing playing on your own and with people. Just want to enjoy this. Just keep that in mind throughout all this. All these things I said are just suggestions for you. In fact, I've learned a ton from teaching other people. And so if you hit upon some cool way to practice this tune, Jenny Lynn, just let me know. Send me an email or a comment, okay? Well, go fiddle with it. Go to FiddleHed.com for a progressive, step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the video.
Excellent.
And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.